Alrighty, let's move on to Blue Jays, Rays, Shoemaker, Snell. This is Montoya. I just I don't know. Now, look, if he's going to sit here and say, "Hey, look at his numbers against the Rays," I mean that
he's
ridiculous.
He's trying to give Ryu an extra day's rest.
I understand that.
He probably also doesn't want to burn Ryu against Snell, but then he'll just burn Ryu against what? Glasnow,
yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm very comfortable putting on a Blue Jays jersey and a Blue Jays hat and fading them. I don't care.
Okay.
But I haven't done it yet. Shoemaker 0-1, 4.71 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 28 2/3, 26 Ks, 9 walks. He hasn't pitched since September 21st, and that was coming off the IL from a shoulder injury. I mean, this is just nuts to me. It's just nuts.
Hold on. So, he according to the reports, he's being piggybacked by Robbie Ray.
Oh, God. So these career numbers versus the Rays happened a long time ago. So the 1.01 WHIP, I don't care about. This season, he made 3 of 6 starts against the Rays. So he allows 6 runs, 10 hits, and 15 innings. That's okay. But you're telling me in the short season, the Rays are going to see him a 4th time? Yeah. A 4th time? And Ulysses Hayes, like in Toronto Moneyline Full Game, says if the bats show up, they can beat Tampa Bay. Toronto finished the season hot, winning 6 of 8, but I'm just beside myself with this decision. And it's not that I don't think Shoemaker has good stuff. You'd think that your starter in the playoffs, you might want to have pitching once in a while in September.
I think it's okay for you to doubt Shoemaker having good stuff because he doesn't.
This is crazy to me. CT Bay's on Jay's first 5. Let's break it down a little more. First, let's talk about Snell. 4-2, 3.24 ERA, 1.20 WHIP, 63 Ks in 50 innings, 18 walks. He was not pitching deep in the games at all in the beginning of the year, and they started slowly stretching him out as the year went on. Jays hit lefties hard, 262, 761 OPS. Rays versus righties, 237, 738 OPS. The Jays bullpen fell apart late in the year. They were so strong all year and completely fell apart. They ended with a 249 average against, 35 home runs allowed, 4.71 ERA, 1.49 WHIP. Rays bullpen 3.37 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 233 average, 26 home runs allowed. They're so strong, and they dealt with injuries and handled it. They've won 9 of their last 11. They won the season series 6-4, but it was very close. Rays won 4 one-inning games. That's what happens when you have a great bullpen. You win one-inning games. The Jays actually outscored the Rays 48-44 in the 10 games. Snell allowed 2 runs over 7 2/3 and 2 starts versus the Jays, 4-3, 2.81 ERA, and 13 career starts. Let's talk about this market and then hand it over to Ant. Snell and the Rays open up at minus 185. They're now minus 200. And this total sitting at 7.5 juice to the under. And take it away. And by the way, Dennis Garcia said Jays bullpen needed some rest. They are fine. Take it away, Rays, Jays.
All right. So you just talked a lot about Shoemaker, and I'll just let you know one thing too, because I had some sources let me know that Robbie Ray will be coming in. And Ray's got an almost 18% walk rate on the year. So in case you're not aware, that's really, really bad. So I'm not enamored with the Blue Jays pitching, so to speak. You got 2 guys who I don't really like. And then the rest of their bullpen, 4.71 ERA on the year, 4.57 FIP on the year. So I'm not happy with the Blue Jays pitching staff in this game. On the opposite side, you do have Snell, who's 2 years removed from a Cy Young, been really good this season. And the the Rays bullpen is one of the best in the league. A 3.37 ERA, 3.65 FIP, and a bullpen WAR of 3.6, which is, I believe, best in baseball. So the Rays definitely have a pitching advantage in this game. On the year, when you look at the batting, these teams are almost identical batting statistics. The Blue Jays 255 batting average, 325 on base percentage, 108 WRC plus. The Rays 238 batting average, 328 on base percentage, 109 WRC plus. So this game really just comes down to the pitching. It's pitching here because you run these offenses together, it's flipping a coin, and that's where I kind of wonder. I'm like, it's a 50-50 when you look at the offenses, but is it really minus 200 for the Rays? I don't know. Like, I don't like the Blue Jays in this game, in this spot with this matchup, but I don't want to lay this number with the Rays, so I'm staying off that. But I am looking at the total here, and I don't think that Snell's invincible. They have seen Snell enough. If Snell gives up a couple runs here, this game should go over. I know overs in playoffs, people don't like saying that, but usually you don't have a pitching staff this bad in the playoffs. I mean, let me just be blunt there. So if the Blue Jays get a couple runs here, which they're more than capable of doing because they have a very high upside offense. I mean, I like the Blue Jays lineup. I think you can get an over here. I would pass on the side completely unless you want to take a shot on the Jays at that price. I'm definitely not laying the close to $2, minus 190, whatever you're getting. I'm not laying that on the Rays here. But I definitely am looking at taking a shot on the over in this game.
Cash action on Tampa Bay first 5, Tampa Bay full game. Jim Remy saying fair line. When it was minus 185, I could have taken the -1 and I should have taken the -1. And it was a mistake. The run line hasn't changed. So let's just see before I get beat myself up, let's see so the -1 with the -200 and plus 105 comes up to -146. If it was -185 and plus 105, -139, so 7 cents.
And you can get that book I'm looking at on non-legal American book. I'm looking at -185 right now for the Blue Jays. I mean, for the Rays.
Now, what do you think of the Rays' first 5? It's a tricky spot because minus a half is -140.
I could get it at -130, and that is a lot more appealing. I'm looking at their first 5 money line, -200. I'm looking at first 5 run line of -130. -130 on the on the Rays first 5 run line is appealing to me because you have a substantially better pitching matchup there. But I mean, I think you're going to get some runs in this game, especially. I think I like both offenses. All year long I've told you I like your Blue Jays offense here, and I just don't like what the Blue Jays are doing with their pitching in this game. I don't like Shoemaker, I don't like Robbie Ray, and I don't like their bullpen. So I think if you get 2 runs out of the Blue Jays here, this game goes over 7.5, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and it's juiced to the under too. So you're not even laying. It's like 7.5 at -105 on the over. So that's not too bad of a price there for a low total.
Matt Randall, star of the Taint, play of the day, joining us, says, I love the over here. Vladdy, Grichuk, and Gurriel are fire right now. Don't like how many times these pitchers have faced these lineups, and Snell wasn't great last time out. Over. Mr. Ghoster wants to fade the Jays' pen, but Dennis Garcia said they were just exhausted, needed rest. CT Bays on the Jays' first 5 at plus 160. I certainly like the number here. Mike getting an even worse line on the Rays there. I guess Mike's guy must be getting attacked there.
That's probably a local bookie in Tampa. -225. That's a local bookie line right there.
I just don't. God, I guess 7.5 seems. Well, let's just take a quick look at team totals. I'm close to pulling the trigger here. I just look. I know the Jays have been hitting, and their team totals at 2.5. Ant.
Oof, that's probably juicy, but yeah, that's tempting. That's
-135.
-135. Yeah, I mean, I might just stack the overs in this game. I mean, I'm already on over 7.5. I bet that earlier because the team totals don't become available until the morning for me a lot of the time. So I'm looking at some of these team totals now, and we are looking at the Rays is at 4 -130. I can get 4.5 at plus 105. That's pretty tempting. Yeah, and that Blue Jays team total is very tempting. 2.5 -140 or 3.5 plus 130.
Interesting. I got some different numbers slightly, and I usually get the worst numbers here about 365, but I get the over 4.5 for the Rays at plus 110, and the over 2.5 for the Jays at minus 135.
Yeah, I like those. I like plus money on over 4.5 for the Rays against a bad pitching staff. So I'm already on over 7.5, so that's my official play for this game. And I'll dig into team totals a little bit later. But yep, definitely over 7.5 at minus 105. Dylan Turner says Jay's team total over 2.5. Come on, LOL, I'm on it. I don't blame you for that.
There's just been a 10-cent move on the total towards the under as we spoke. My book just went to over 7.5 at plus 100.
I mean, I guess people just looking at Snell. Well, also, believe it or not, like this might shock you, but a lot of people in the sabermetric community, for some reason, think Shoemaker's good and also like Robbie Ray because he, quote unquote, has good stuff. And I'm doing air quotes because he has great spin rates, even though he walks 1 out of every 5 batters.
Mr. Govis says, what about Rays without Meadows and Margot?
Margot, not as bad as, or not as big of a hit as Meadows. Without Meadows, that hurts them. But you also got to look at it this way. You don't need Austin Meadows to get 6 runs off of the pitching staff that Toronto's going to throw out there.
Well, I'm going to keep an eye on this total. God, why would it be going down to 7? I mean, do you think it's possible that this drops? Now it's 7.5 plus 100. That this drops to 7?
It could, yeah. I mean, if it's that even money on 7.5, then you can definitely see it get steamed more because a lot of people in the market are steam chasers, so that could get pushed down to 7.
The 7 right now, if you want to pay for it, is a minus 140 to the over. Plus, it's the under 7.5 is the same price as the under 7. What kind of book would give you that? That's ridiculous.
I don't know.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, Russell Westbrook saying wait till 7. Dan Kelly saying just wait till 7. So I'm going to wait and see what happens with this total. But I certainly want to back the Rays here. I certainly want to back the Rays. Jim Remy says I got 7.6 runs and 3.85 with his projected output there. I just can't. Montoya has made extremely questionable decisions throughout the year. As fans, we haven't been sitting there going, "Oh, that was a great move. That was a great move." We've been upset watching Montoya. I mean, he's been saying the right things this year, but to the media, but the decisions he's making have been questionable. Now, Shoemaker Ray, I mean, now he wants to make this brilliant move here, and it's just so juiced, man. Because my first 5 minus a half is minus 140. You know, it actually, I almost want to take the first 5 minus 1 because that's even money. Because first 5 minus 1.5 is plus 140. Are you going to stay off aside and just work on totals here?
In this game, yes. Because, I mean, I can't bet the Rays at that number. And, I mean, if you gave me a free bet, I wouldn't be totally against grabbing the Blue Jays at that huge plus price. Just because I think the Blue Jays have a good enough offense that, they can surprise. I mean, the Blue Jays have that team where even if it's up against a pitcher like Snell and the Tampa Bay Rays, the Blue Jays could still, get like 8 runs. I mean, they've done it before. They just have a very high upside offense with all those young bats in it. It's one of the reasons why the series prices, I'm kind of looking at the Blue Jays plus 190 to win the series. I think that's a very tempting price because they are going to have Ryu go game 2. So when you look at it, all right, if the Blue Jays do manage to win this game, which I think they can, I mean, I don't think they will necessarily, but I don't think it's out of the realm that they win this game. Who knows? Shoemaker and Robbie Ray can piggyback for a decent start. I mean, anything's possible in baseball. At +1, if they win this game, you got Ryu and that offense at +190 if you take the Twins series price. So I'm not against taking the Twins, or not the, why did I say Twins? The Blue Jays series price at +190, I think is very tempting here. I definitely think there's some value in that number. I wouldn't lay the price. I would not lay the series price with the Tampa Bay Rays here.
Well, I'm going to wait on this total.
I think you're being too hard though on your manager.
I don't think so.
Well, what else is he supposed to do though? I mean, because now granted, you guys have a great offense, but your pitching, it's not like he has that great of pitching staff. He has Ryu and then a bunch of guys who are cobbled together. I mean, he has Taijuan Walker, who he got through trade. But I mean, if you don't have that good of a bullpen and you have a bunch of average starters, I mean, you got to find some way to get creative here.
Well, he's done that. So let's give him big marks for creativity. My prediction is Charles Montoya, it looks like an ass clown with this decision. Okay. So I'm going to double up on the Rays, first 5 -0.5 and full game -1, and pay the price and pay the juice for it. So I did want to talk it out. And it's not like, look, the Jays hit lefties, but they don't have that much power. You'd think with a 262 batting average against lefties, you'd have a higher OPS of 761. They don't have that much power against lefties. And Vladdy hasn't been as strong as we expected him to be this year, and he did come up late. All right. And I'm going to wait and see what this total is. Right now, 7.5 at plus even money is somewhat appealing, but I'd like to see what see if it possibly goes down to 7. Dylan Turner says Jay's team total over 2.5. Book it. I have -135. I understand that, and I don't want to put too much on this game. And I just think that Shoemaker, Ray, Jay's bullpen, Snell, Ray's bullpen. All right. Okay, there you go. Blue Jays, Rays broken down. And from a futures perspective, why don't we go back to futures? We just talked about the series price. We'll go back to futures at the very end. Ulysses Hayes says this is different baseball play. Jimmy Vladdy will show up. And Mr. Ghost says Rays hit lefties very, very well. All righty. Look, I can understand, and I want to jump on the over, but there's no reason to make a move here at this point.
Yeah, if the under is getting steamed.